Welcome, everyone. We're going to take the next 20 minutes just to move, touch everything, engage our tissues, hydrate our tissues, feel a little more limber if you've been sitting at a desk and staring at a computer screen at close proximity. So let's move together. So we're going to find our way to a mat and begin by bringing our big toes to touch. Knees nice and wide apart, setting our hips over our heels, and just laying the belly between the thighs, and then comfortably extending the arms forward and resting your head down. Just starting to get into the breath again. Feeling the weight of the head on the floor, perhaps just massaging the forehead by gently rocking the head side to side. And as we just experience this residue of where the breath has been, just invite the body to soften. And inhale. Pinch the fingers, bring your gaze up. We're going to walk the hands 45 degrees over to the right. Inhale to just ripple the belly up and over the right thigh and rest your head down. And just slowly start to press the pads of the fingers on the palm into the floor on the left side, and invite that left shoulder blade to sink down. Stay with your breath, grounding through that left hip. And then inhale, bringing our gaze up, walking hand over hand, just again, staying intuitive with our movements, just grounding the palms down and let gravity just take a hold. Coming to the other side, let's stay really engaged in that right palm, the right knuckles of the fingers and the finger pads. Just using that as a little tool to track down that right hip, draw the right shoulder away from the ear. And inhale, bringing your gaze back up, coming back onto all fours, rolling the toes under, just rocking back and forth for a moment. Let's roll through the spine, pressing through the hand, and exhale out, reversing that action. So it's coming into our cat-cow to warm up the spine. Linking the movement to your breathing. Breathing in the air, initiating the movement. And exhale out, just wagging your hips to the right, gaze off to the right. And wagging the hips off to the left, gaze to the left. Just staying very intuitive with your movement here. If the body calls for the neck to create some circular motions, then follow that impulse. Follow any impulse within the shoulder girdle or the hips. Perhaps you want to press the pads of the feet down. Just tracking that attention and receiving and responding to it. And then we're going to walk the hands a little closer to the top of the mat, start to sink the hips over the heels, activating through the palms and hands, and lift. And on your next exhale, reaching the hips up and back. This healing, pedaling, heel toe with the feet bicycle. Just following whatever little pockets of stiffness need a little extra attention. And then we'll reset the feet about the width of our hips. And on an inhale, we'll let the heels rise up high, just asking and inviting the hips to reach up towards the sky. And we're going to bend the knees, tucking the tail under, just hovering the knees, and then releasing and reaching the femurs back. So we're going to do 2 more sets of that. So as the knees drop down, we'll tuck our seats under, press through the palms of the hands, exhale, reach back, finding our lumbar curve, heels lift, come to hover, exhale back. Inhale, we're going to shift into plank. Exhale, we're going to pick up that left hand and just bend all the way down like an elevator. Coming back up. Sitting heels down and releasing to the side. So we're going to do that a few more times. Coming up to plank. Coming down. Reset into plank. Sitting back. And just cactusing and rotating the arms. So finding our plank. Back. And just rotate. Other side. You're going to press up into plank. Your hands down, knees down, and rotate, plank. And last one, just being very mindful, intuitive, trying to land as gracefully as we're able to. And again, find our way back to down dog. I'll just split back. Just wagging the hips from side to side here. Inhale, heels lift up. We're going to bring our gaze up. Exhale, bend the knees, and then walk to the top of the mat. Set our feet about hips width distance apart. Just walk the hands up to shins. Inhale, halfway to lift. Exhale, forward fold. Coming into a half sun salutation here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pull the mat apart with the feet. And then exhale, forward fold. Just keeping your weight into the balls of the feet. And then resetting the weight back into the heels. So you find all four corners of the feet here. I'm going to bend the knees, gaze up, from all the way up to standing. And then exhale through heart center. Let's flow back down. Inhale up. Bring your gaze past your fingertips. Exhale, drop into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway to lift. Exhale, stepping back into plank. Come all the way to the floor into our first Sphinx, first back bend here. Inhale to press the forearms down, fingertips forward, tops of the feet gently pressing down, knees lift. Just rolling the shoulders back. Dragging the pubic bone slightly forward. And exhale, slowly down. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulder heads. Come back up through the knees. Toes curl under. Give yourself a stretch here. Intent the fingers. And then hover the knees. Then finally, all the way back to down dog. I'm going to take that right leg, draw a line high in the sky. It doesn't have to be high. In fact, let's make it a little lower than perhaps our full range of motion. Exhale, knee into nose. I'm going to step forward and rest the left knee down. Coming into a low lunge here. I'm going to slowly come back up, slide the foot back. Just giving a little bit of our flexibility back to stability. Just start to sway the hips forward and back. I'm going to draw the buttocks under, push the feet into the floor, hug in, and bring your arms up. Now, you might be getting enough here. If you want a little bit more, keep the tuck and just gently walk that foot a little bit forward, dropping the knee over the heel. Inhale to lengthen, gaze up. Heart lifting. Exhale, coming into a half split. And we're going to flow here 3 more times. Inhale, arms go up. And exhale, draw back. And inhale up. Exhale, draw back. We're going to ground that heel down and start to pull it back. You can put a little micro bend in that knee. You might start to get a little bit of sensation through the back foot. If it's too much, you can just readjust. Come up a little higher. Maybe you get a little bit more action in that front quad. So that's cool too. And we'll fully express this lunge. Stay with the tuck. And we're going to come into a side bend here. So you can put your right hand on top of your right thigh. Come up and over with the left. Reaching through the ring finger. Palm rotating towards the wall behind you. And I'm going to round down. Fingertips on the floor. Stepping back into down dog here. Coming into a flow. Inhale. Forward into plank. Exhale down to the floor. Uncurl the toes. Inhale to baby cobra. And exhale back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Pedal the feet. So we'll set the right foot into the midline. Inhale, left leg comes up. And stepping it through. And the exhalation, right knee draws down. And we're going to just see how this feels, just rotating through. And draw that left foot back ever so slightly just to create strength and stability in the legs, like you could take off at a moment's notice. Ground down through the feet, start to hug that left hip back, right hip forward. And maybe we find our pelvic bowl in space. So just feel that cat-cow rotation in this position. And then we're going to invite the buttocks to tuck under. Frontal hip bones are knitting in towards the floating ribs here. And then we'll draw the arms up. Whew. And feel the whatever sensations soften there. We're working this subtle strength. If you want a little bit more depth in it, you can walk that foot out. But really, we're looking to maintain the tuck, just to get this nice psoas extension, this release. And we're going to flow. The exhalation draws us back, up and over. You work with that micro bend in the front leg. Inhale, arms up, gaze up. And exhale, draw back. Think of what might be driving the impulse to move. So as the breath engages, let the heart come along for the ride. Exhale, coming back. Inhale up. And exhale, coming back. And we'll slowly come back to lunge. When we take that left arm over the thigh, right arm comes up and over. Maybe we bring our gaze up to the top hand. And as we draw that right hip forward, think of extending through the right ring finger. Open the shoulders. Press through your left heel for stability. Hugging the legs in towards each other. Breathing here. Softening the jaw. A little soft smile and release the facial tension. And then rounding through, fingertips on the top, come to the top of the mat. I'll step back into plank here. Pause in your plank. Press the heels back. Back to plank. Like you're going to spring forward. Plank. And last set. Plank. We're going to come all the way down to the floor. Uncurl the toes. All the way up. Cobra pose. Just waggle any tension in the shoulders. Exhale to float back down. The toes curl up. We're going to cross the legs. I'm to sit back. Take a moment to pause here. Press forward. Sit up. Coming into a yogic squat. Sit back down. Reverse the cross of the legs. A funny way, come to sit down. Find your plumb line. Roll through. Sit back. This time the left one comes up first. Right? Squat. And we'll just hang out here for a second. And turn the palms to face up. Let the tail get so heavy. Beam the chest forward. And the shoulder heads rolling back. And licking your lips, rub them together. Swallow. Reach through the crown of your head. And then we'll slowly start to sit back. And lie down on your back. Just coming into a set of bridge here. So if you want to reach for the backs of your heels with your middle finger, and then set your palms facing up. Inhale to start to raise the pelvis up. Bring your gaze up to the ceiling. Just scoop the shoulders underneath you, mindful not to flatten the neck. Really press into your triceps here. We're going to lift the heels, direct the buttock flesh away from the low back. And then exhale lower. Try to maintain some of that height. And then we'll slowly roll through the spine. A moment to pause. I'm going to do another set. Inhale to lift. You have another version of this pose you want to go into. Feel free. I'm just focusing on drawing that skin away from my mid-back or my low back. It's inviting that gentle tuck again. So frontal hip bones draw up towards the floating ribs. And then exhale, just slowly feeling our way from the top vertebrae through to the bottom, and then fully relax and receive that. We're going to bring our soles of our feet to touch. Place one hand on the heart, another on the belly, just to track our breath. And slowly drawing the knees back up to center, heel toe the feet nice and wide. We'll just bend the legs for a moment. And then we'll draw the knees into the chest. It's coming into a twist of your choice. So cross like I am, like you're going to thread the needle, and then just grab for the right ankle and just rotate that down to the floor and direct the right knee up and away, and open that right arm out to the side and turn your gaze over towards the right fingertips. Just a gentle grounding through the right foot, nothing crazy. It's this balance between the ease of the pose and the effort. Is there something you could soften here? And then bring your gaze back up to the ceiling. Just uncross that thigh, and you can either just hook it around or just stack them. So just choosing what the body's calling for. I'm just staying in your twist for another 2 breaths. And bring your gaze back up. Let the legs come along for the ride. Reset the feet, a constructive rest. And we'll go to the other side. So this time the left heel will cross over the right thigh. And heel to the right foot. The hips gently adjust over to the left to give you more space. And we're just inviting that leg to move gently away. We feel a nice extension through the outer hip here. And keep your gaze soft, or your eyes can be closed. Staying with your breath awareness. And then inhale, bring your gaze back up to the ceiling. You can reset your legs to stack or crisscross the legs. Taking 2 more breaths. Just rinsing out the spine a bit here. Softening the shoulders. Letting go of the weight of your legs. And then slowly unwinding from our twist. Again, knees into the chest. And floating into a closing pose of your choice. I'm going to take a happy baby here. Inviting the knees to draw down towards the floor as the heels reach up. Spreading across the foot. Staying with the breath. And slowly releasing out. Going into our final rest, Shavasana. Setting your hips nice and wide apart. Just wider than your hips. Palms facing upward. Just feeling for any asymmetry that you can adjust. And then once you're comfortable enough, drop in. Releasing any control of the breath. And you can feel free to stay here for as long as you need, as long as you have. I'm going to slowly turn to my right side. Rising in a comfortable seated position. Namaste.